This video is brought to you by Audible. In the beginning, there was naught but the great yawning void known as Ginnungagap. The first realm to form was Muspellsheim in the south, a bright land, engulfed in fire and guarded by Surt with his flaming sword. To the north formed Niflheim, the freezing land of fog, containing the spring Hvergelmir, from where the primordial rivers began to flow. These rivers flowed into the void and began to freeze as they came further from their source, until the north of the void was completely filled with ice. The moisture rising from the ice froze, creating layers of rime across the glacial landscape. The south of the void was brightened by the sparks and embers flying out of Muspellheim, creating a warm breeze which drifted towards the icy north. When the rime was touched by the breeze, it began to melt. Droplets came together as new life and took the form of Ymir, the first of the frost giants. When Ymir lay down to sleep, the sweat from his left armpit formed 2 children and his legs formed a 6-headed son. From them descended the frost giants. The drops from this rime then formed the cow Adumla, whose milk Ymir used for sustenance. Adumla sustained herself by licking the salty rime-covered stones surrounding her and Ymir. On the first day that she licked the stones, she uncovered the hair of a man. On the second day, his whole head appeared, and on the third day he was completely uncovered. He was called Buri, and before long he fathered a son called Bor. Bor married Bestla, the daughter of a giant, and they had 3 children together, the eldest being Odin, the second Vili, then Ve. The 3 brothers killed the giant Ymir, whose wounds unleashed a great stream of blood, drowning all the frost giants except Hvergelmir, who built an ark and boarded it with his wife. They became the ancestors of all frost giants. Odin and his brothers took the body of Ymir to the centre of the void, using it to create the world. The sea and the lakes came from his blood, and the land from his flesh. The mountains were made from his bones, and the rocks from his teeth. Ymir's skull was used to create the sky, and was placed over Earth's 4 corners. From Ymir's flesh spawned the dwarves, one of whom stood under each of Earth's corners. They are called North, South, East, and West. The brothers then took the sparks and embers flying out of Muspellheim, placing them throughout the heavens, creating the stars. They were positioned in such a way day could be distinguished from night, thus started time. The earth took a circular shape and is surrounded by a deep ocean. Along the shore of this ocean, the brothers gave giants land to live on, which was named Jotunheim. To protect themselves against these giants, the brothers built fortifications further inland out of Ymir's eyebrows and named it Midgard. Finally, they took Ymir's brains and threw them into the sky, creating the clouds. From driftwood, Odin and his brothers created new life. Odin giving them breath and life, Vili intelligence and feeling, and Ve form, speech, hearing and sight. Thus the first humans were born, a man and a woman, Ash and Elm. They were given a home in Midgard, and it is here where humans still reside to this day. The brothers then fashioned a magnificent city named Asgard at the centre of the world, a place to call home. Odin became the ruler of Asgard and took the beautiful Frigg as his wife. She bore him the Aesir, the divine gods who dwell in Asgard, and so Odin came to be known as All-Father, as he is the father of both the gods and mankind. To connect the realms, the gods built a bridge named Bifrost, which is known to the humans as a rainbow. Next to Bifrost lives Heimdall, who guards it against the mountain giants and is the watchman of the gods. He sports perfect vision in both night and day, golden teeth, and a horn named Gjallarhorn, whose blast can be heard in all worlds. In Jotunheim, a giant named Norfi had a daughter by the name of Night. She, in turn, had a son called Day. Odin took Night and Day, giving each a horse and chariot, who were then bid to ride around the heavens. On Earth, a boy Mani, meaning moon, and a girl Sol, meaning sun, were taken and placed in the heavens by the gods. Sol pilots the chariot pulling the sun, with Mani controlling the moon. The siblings move across the sky with such haste as they are constantly being pursued by two great wolves, Skull and Hati, who wish to devour them. In all, 9 worlds were created to hold the different beings of the universe. Asgard is home to the gods and Midgard to the humans, Alfheim to the light elves, and Nidavellir to the dwarves, also known as the dark elves. Jotunheim was given to the giants, and Vanaheimir to the Vanir, a group of wise fertility gods. Niflheim and Muspellsheim are the primordial realms which formed the cosmos. Finally, Hell is the land to which those who die dishonourably go, to spend the afterlife. These worlds are all connected by the great ash tree Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil has 3 great roots. The first sits above Urd's well, the Well of Fate, where the gods sit in council every day. Beside this well live the Norns, 3 prophetic maidens who determine the course of human lives. The second root of Yggdrasil is placed above Mimir's well, the Well of Wisdom. Beneath the final root sits Hvergelmir, the spring from which the primordial rivers originate. This root is constantly gnawed upon by the dragon Nidhogg. High in Yggdrasil sits a giant eagle who creates the winds when he takes flight. A squirrel named Ratatosk runs up and down the tree, delivering insults between the eagle and Nidhogg, provoking each. Odin, the Allfather, Lord of Asgard and the eternal seeker of knowledge, despite wielding immense power, values wisdom over all else. In his thirst for knowledge, Odin visited Mimir's well, whose waters hold the secret to great intelligence. The guardian of the well, Mimir himself, was not ready to so willingly share the gifts of the well, and so asked for a sacrifice from Odin to prove himself worthy. Odin gouged out one of his eyes and dropped it into the water. Impressed, Mimir offered Odin a drink, who happily accepted. Odin then sought the Norns, who shaped destiny by carving runes, which are Nordic letters, into the trunk of Yggdrasil. Determined to acquire the power and wisdom the runes could impart, Odin sought them out, but would once again have to prove himself worthy. Odin hung himself from a branch of Yggdrasil, whilst impaling himself on his spear. He also forbade the gods to give him food or water, leaving him to starve in pain for 9 days and nights before the runes finally revealed themselves to him. From them, he gained invaluable knowledge and could now wield runic magic to help heal and shield his allies or smite and crush his enemies. Odin's true goal is the gathering of knowledge in preparation for Ragnarok, the end of the world, in a desperate attempt to delay it. To prepare for the climactic fight, Odin sends his Valkyries, a group of divine maidens he commands, to every battle to decide who will be victorious and who will die. They then select the most heroic of the slain and bring them to Odin's hall in Asgard, called Valhalla. Odin sits at the head of this vast hall, with his 2 wolves, Geri and Freki. Odin himself needs nothing to eat, and sustains himself exclusively through wine, which serves as his food and drink. Atop his shoulders perch 2 ravens, Hugin, Thought, and Munin, Memory, who fly off into the world every day at sunrise to gather information. They always arrive back for the daily feast and whisper the events of the world into Odin's ears. The fallen warriors who reside in Valhalla are known as Einherjar, and every day they commence in friendly battle with each other. At Ragnarok, they will stream out of the hall and stand shoulder to shoulder with the gods against the forces of destruction. Thor, Odin's son, protector of mankind, and the mighty god of thunder, is the strongest of the gods. He sports a magnificent mane of red hair and a giant rosy beard to match, flying around the skies on his carriage drawn by 2 goats. While quick to anger, Thor is a well-meaning god, and is often the unwitting victim of pranks played by the trickster god Loki. Thor is married to the goddess Sif, who herself fell victim to a prank by Loki. Loki thought it would be funny to shave Sif's hair off, but Thor, upon seeing his wife's bald head, found little to laugh at. He grabbed a hold of Loki, and was just about to start breaking bones when the prankster promised he could get the dwarves to fashion her a new head of hair. Thor agreed, and Loki soon had the dwarves mould pure gold into magical hair which would grow and act like normal. Along with this, they made many other treasures for the gods, including an indestructible hammer. As this hammer was forged, a fly bit the smith's eye, causing blood to cloud his vision, resulting in the handle being unusually short. These gifts were presented to the gods, and the hammer was given to Thor, who was incredibly impressed despite its flaw. If thrown, it would never miss its mark, and could always find its way back to him. Small enough to keep in his shirt, this hammer, which crushes all in its path, is named Mjolnir. Loki, the god of mischief and the nefarious son of a giant, aligns with or against the Aesir as he sees fit, often outwitting and pranking Thor, among others, for his own amusement. Loki went from a harmless prankster to a full-blown enemy of the Aesir as time went on. He had several children, including the giantess Hel, who resides over the realm that takes its name from her. Loki's other children include the Midgard serpent, Thor's eternal rival, and the giant wolf Fenrir. Loki became truly irredeemable when he orchestrated the death of Odin's son Balder, the most beautiful of the gods. Sensing his imminent demise, Balder went to his mother Frigg for help, who blessed him against damage of all weapons of all materials. The gods held a contest where they shot at Balder with arrows, who laughed as they rebounded off of him. Loki was angered by his invincibility, and so disguised himself as a woman and approached Frigg. He asked if Balder was completely invincible, and Frigg replied yes, to all things except mistletoe. Loki immediately gathered some mistletoe and approached Odin's blind son Hod. As Hod was blind, he could not participate in the competition, so Loki offered to guide him, handing him a bow with an arrow made of mistletoe. Hod shot Balder, killing him immediately. In their grief, the gods appealed to Hel to release the fallen god. She refused unless every being in the universe wept for him. The Aesir managed to make this happen, apart from one giantess, Loki in disguise, who refused to cry, leading Balder to be robbed of his resurrection. The Aesir took Loki to a cave and brought two of his children before him. They turned one brother into a wolf and forced him to savagely disembowel the other. They then tied Loki to the cave with his son's innards. He will remain there until Ragnarok, when he will break free to seek his revenge. Ragnarok is the end of days, where the gods are slain by the forces of chaos and the world is destroyed in fire. The end begins with 3 winters in which a series of battles rage across the world, where brother will turn on brother and the sanctity of kinship shall be broken. Then comes Fimbulwinter, bringing ceaseless snow and freezing winds. 3 of these winters will pass in succession, with summer ceasing to exist. The sun and the moon will be caught and devoured by the wolves chasing them, and the stars will disappear from the heavens. The world will be struck by earthquakes as the monstrous sons of Loki emerge, the wolf Fenrir with flames streaming from his eyes, and the Midgard serpent spewing venom across land and sea. The ship of the dead, known as Naglfar, made entirely of the nails of the dead, will sail the frost giants of Jotunheim, accompanied by Loki and the forces of Hel to fight the gods. Amid the chaos, the sky is split apart by the soldiers of Muspellsheim, led by the magnificent Surt, who will trample upon Bifrost, destroying it. Even Nidhogg, who gnaws at Yggdrasil's root, shall leave his home to aid the giants. Upon seeing Ragnarok approaching, Heimdall blows Gjallarhorn, alerting the gods to the end of days. The Aesir and Einherjar march bravely towards the Chaos Horde, with Odin at their head. Despite Odin's preparations, the gods fall, one by one, until they are no more. Frey, the fertility god, advances against Surt but is struck down by his flaming sword. Garm, the guardian dog of Hel, ravages the battlefield, leading Tyr, god of war and justice, to sacrifice himself to slay the beast. Thor takes on the Midgard serpent, striking his foe with lightning and hammer, the serpent responding with poison and fangs. Thor emerges victorious, but soon falls to the ground dead, succumbing to the serpent's poison. Odin engages Fenrir, and while he fights valiantly, the great wolf takes victory, devouring the Allfather there and then. Upon seeing his father fall, the god Vidar rushes at the wolf, planting one foot in the beast's lower jaw and ripping Fenrir's head in two. Heimdall clashes with Loki, and each will fall by the other's blade. Finally, Surt covers the whole world in fire, destroying it in a mighty blaze. This is not the end, however, as from the end of the old world, another can be born anew. Few escape Ragnarok, but those that do rebuild the fallen world. Odin's sons Vidar and Vili survive and inhabit the ruins of Asgard. Thor's sons Modi and Magni later join them, carrying Mjolnir with them. Baldar and Hod then ascend from hell together and reminisce on the bygone age. Two humans survive by hiding in a place known as Hodmimir's Wood, and will have many descendants repopulating the world. The son will also have a daughter before she dies, no less beautiful than her, who shall follow her mother's path in the sky. Upon this new world, the population will prosper and rejoice in the peaceful years to come. Look to the horizon, however, to see a dark shadow loom. The dragon Nidhogg, carrying corpses in his great talons. Ragnarok will come again. Audible is a great way to enhance your summer activities, whether you are travelling to your favourite destination, studying, exercising or relaxing on the beach. Audible provides you with an unmatched selection of audiobooks. With a membership, you receive one free audiobook a month, exclusive sales and 30% off all regularly priced audiobooks. And with My Library, you can access your books anytime, anywhere, right from your smartphone. So start your 30-day trial today and get your first audiobook free. Go to audible.com/thelifeguide, or for our US viewers, you can text the Life Guide to 500 500. That's audible.com/thelifeguide, or for our US viewers, text the Life Guide to 500 500. One book we would highly recommend is Mythos, a retelling of the myths of ancient Greece. Written and read by Stephen Fry, this book is beautifully narrated, entertaining and thoroughly enjoyable for anyone interested in mythology. So what are you waiting for? Broaden your mind and start your free trial with Audible today.